Hey everybody, it's your boy, Bad Lighting. Been a while since I've done a cooking video, and I'm hungry, and it's 1:21 a.m. So guess what I'm gonna do? Today, I'm going to be preparing these chicken breasts with some seasoning and stuff that you can use in just about any Hispanic dish you want. Also, my dog is spazzing out on the floor, so enjoy that as well. Now, I just finished thawing these chicken breasts to the best of my ability in the microwave, as much as I trust the microwave to thaw and not cook the chicken. However, it's still a little bit frozen on the inside. You should do this with fresh chicken, but we buy in bulk, so I'm going to have to deal with the bad stuff. Alright, as you can see, it's still a little bit firm and frozen on the inside, but overall the rest of it's kind of thawed out, so I'm going to roll with it. So I've cut up one of my chicken breasts to pieces that are about, I don't know, we'll say half-inch thick, something like that. It doesn't have to be exact, but you should try to make them all somewhat uniform so that, they cook at roughly the same time. And there we have it, folks. Both of the chicken titties are cut up. So in a second, I'm going to break out the pan and show you all how you should begin cooking this. Before I cook anything, however, I got to show you all the spices that I'm going to be using. We got some cayenne pepper, some salt, some onion powder, garlic powder, chili powder, paprika, cumin, and then the super secret ingredient that I'll reveal in a second. It's going to revolutionize every Hispanic dish you ever cook. Now, as you can see here, I'm using very, very, very precise ways of measuring my spices. All right? This is the only way to cook. Anyone that tells you different is a liar. Alright, now it's time for the secret ingredient. Ground cinnamon. If you've never put ground cinnamon into your spice mixture for pretty much any kind of meat, you're not doing it right, because it is honestly absolutely fantastic, especially when paired with garlic powder and cumin. Once you have everything in your bowl, just kind of stir it together. Make sure that it's decently well mixed. That's pretty decent. And now, I'm going to give it a little bit of a taste test. It's a little more chili powder. And I think that'll do it. Before I hear a single person complain about how I'm not measuring out my spices and stuff, I know what my palate likes. Your palate's probably going to be a little bit different in terms of the ratios. Don't be afraid to deviate from what the recipe tells you to do in terms of spices if you know you're not going to like a spice as much as I do. Now, to get this puppy on the road, I'm going to add a healthy dose of olive oil to my pan. And I'm going to turn it on pretty low heat right now. Once the pan has heated up, begin adding your chicken into the pan. I would do this one-handed, but I don't trust myself. This pan can hold about one of the chicken breasts that I cut up earlier. I would use my bigger pan, but I don't feel like cleaning it. So, I'm going to do this batch, and then I'll do that batch. Maybe on camera. I don't know. I'm kind of winging this, but actually I do that anyway, so I guess that's not really a big statement. Let me get the microphone close so you all can hear this sizzling ASMR. Now, right about here would be when I would tell you how long you should brown part of your chicken before you flip it over and stuff, but everybody's stove is going to be slightly different, so figure it out on your own, man. It's really difficult to do this one-handed. I am going to say that. Alright, I'm going to begin to add some of my spice mixture. I'm going to add in, roughly half, since we added about half of the chicken that we started with. Alright, this next part is going to seem extremely controversial, but I know what I'm doing. You're now going to add water. Now, some of you who are astute might notice, wait a minute, all of the spice mixture is just washed off like half your chicken, maybe more. Well, not to fear, ladies and gentlemen. There's a scientific explanation for this. As any meat sweats out as it's cooking, it's going to lose moisture. That's what that juice is that comes out of like a really nice steak whenever you're searing a steak in the pan and stuff. You know, same principle goes for this chicken over here. So, you add in water after you've developed a nice browning on the outside of the chicken, and it begins to absorb some of that water that it's braising in effect, making something like chicken breast, which is normally a drier meat, rehydrating it and actually making it palatable. All right, so now I'm just going to let this chicken braise for a few minutes, let the water cook off, and slowly let it reduce down until it's basically formed kind of a sauce. As you can see, after a few minutes, it has reduced by a pretty considerable amount. You can see that it's thickening into kind of a glaze/sauce. This is what you're looking for. As you can see, it has formed basically like a glaze over this. It's less of a sauce and more of a glaze. But it's sticking really, really nicely to the chicken there. So I'm about to go do the second batch and show you a slightly different method for cooking it. Now, as you can see, we've got some grease and stuff that's left in the pan. And we have a second batch of chicken to cook. Launch that there. So you know what we're going to do? We're just going to cook it in the grease of its brethren. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more olive oil just to kind of help things along with the browning, just because I don't know if there's enough grease left in the pan to really assist with the browning of the chicken. Woo! Now, the other way that you can thicken stuff without just, waiting for it to reduce is with a little cornstarch slurry. Also, in case I didn't say this earlier, because I don't really remember, because I've been doing this for like 40 minutes now, stir around the chicken in the water every couple minutes, just to make sure that nothing's like sticking to the bottom. While we're waiting for that to cook over there, I'm going to try myself a piece of this chicken. Tastes just like my last name. Alright, it's reduced by enough now that I'm going to add the slurry into this. And I'm just going to begin mixing this around just a little bit. And you can already see how it is starting to thicken up part of this liquid. Boy, howdy, she's bubbling like the brook bubbles after a dog's been drowned. As you all can see here, this is thickened up into more of an actual sauce, as opposed to just kind of sort of a glaze. So if you do the cornstarch slurry combined with reducing the water that's in there, that's going to get you more of this kind of texture. There you have it, folks. We got chicken. Yep, that's chicken. But as is tradition every time that I cook in my kitchen when it's this late at night, I gotta drink something. So I'm just gonna drink from the milk carton. There you go.